Imagine before taking a journey in your automobile, filling your tank with water, or simply unplugging it from the electrical outlet and being on your way. Many of the fuel we use for today's cars are petroleum-based gasoline and diesel, both of which release a steady supply of harmful pollutants into the atmosphere, changing our planet for the worst. And over the next few years, may even run out according to some scientists. There are many solutions to this growing problem. I will talk about three of those alternatives: electric, hydrogen, and biodiesel fueled cars. Let's talk about the first one, electric cars. Did you know that the first automobiles were mainly electric? Most of the taxis in New York City were. The internal combustion engine was not favored because it was noisy and unreliable. Electric cars were cleaner and quieter, but some of the disadvantages were the first batteries were unstable and couldn't operate for very long. More focus came about in the 1990s due to the fact of a projected shortage of petroleum-based fuels in the near future. Several advantages are the cheaper maintenance of electric cars. There's no need to change the oil every 3,000 or 5,000 miles. It's also cheaper to operate. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates the average cost to run an electric car per year is $1,000 compared to the internal combustion engine, which is $6,000. There are two sides to every coin. Disadvantages are reluctance of gas stations to outfit their stations with recharging, and it's also expensive to outfit those charging stations. It may take up to 8 hours to recharge a fully dead battery. Range is also a factor, of 150 miles compared to internal combustion engines, which have about twice as much. You also need energy that comes from non-renewable resources such as coal to generate electricity to charge those batteries. Now that you know a little bit about electric cars, let's talk about my next topic, hydrogen. Hydrogen can produce power from fuel cells, which can run a car much like an electric car. It can also be used in modified internal combustion engines, which produce no harmful emissions. It can be produced from a variety of sources such as solar, wind, biomass, natural gas, and water. Water, which is made up of two parts hydrogen and oxygen, can be separated from a process called electrolysis. Electrolysis, however, is costly and is one of the disadvantages of using hydrogen. Also, there are not a lot of refueling stations out there due to the rarity of those cars that have been outfitted to use hydrogen. It's also not as efficient as gasoline, which means you're going to be using more hydrogen to go just as far as you would with regular gasoline. Now that you know a little bit about hydrogen-powered cars, let's talk a little bit about biodiesel. Biodiesel is derived from vegetable oil, animal fats, and recycled food grease. Typically, it produces less harmful pollutants than normal diesel. It can be blended with regular diesel and used in those converted engines. Conversion is not that expensive either. Another advantage to biodiesel is that it can be produced domestically from renewable resources such as vegetable oil and some forms of algae. Some of the concerns are material compatibility. Biodiesel tends to break down materials and engine components such as high-density polyethylene, PVC, polystyrene, and copper-based materials, zinc, lead, and cast iron. It can also break down natural rubber, which is used in a lot of older engines. Currently, it's more expensive to produce because of its costly production. It's 10% lower fuel economy than regular diesel, and it's not suitable at low temperature environments due to its thickening or gelling. It has a lower temperature threshold, as in 14 degrees to 61 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that you've heard about the three alternative fuel sources, let's review them. Electric cars have been around since the beginning of the automotive era, and its popularity has waxed and waned. Hydrogen can fuel automobiles and produce no harmful pollutants into the atmosphere. Biodiesel can be mixed with regular diesel, and which makes less harmful pollutants into the atmosphere. All of which are not without their disadvantages, but I think they can ease the transition into a fuel source that doesn't rely on petroleum, and also our dependence upon renewable resources that provides transport for our everyday needs.